Okay, let's talk about something we've all run into. You get some code from your AI assistant, and it's almost there, but it's still wrong, and that's so frustrating. Today, we're going to master the art of the follow-up and learn how to get the AI to fix its own code. So, picture it. The AI spits out some code. It's like 90% of what you wanted. It's so close, but that last 10% is just not working. And let's be honest, if it's broken, it might as well be 100% wrong. So what do? This is maybe the most common hurdle when working with these tools, and we're about to learn how to clear it easily. Yeah, we actually have a name for this exact scenario. We call it the almost right problem. And to see it in action, let's meet Timothy. He's a junior developer, he's using an AI called Claude Code to build a little data export utility, and he's completely hit a wall. So let's take a look at the code the AI gave him. And you know what? A lot of it is great. The core logic is solid, the CSV export part works like a charm, even the date formatting is perfect. But, and it's a big but, there are a couple of deal breakers. First, if you try to run it on an empty dataset, the whole thing just throws an error and crashes. And second, the column headers are hard-coded when they really need to be dynamic. So what's your gut reaction here? Well, most of us fall into one of three common traps. You might just sigh, dive into the code, and fix the bugs yourself. Or you might get frustrated, scrap the whole thing, and try to write a totally new prompt from scratch. Or maybe you just type back, "This is wrong," and hope for the best. But there's a much, much better way: a disciplined follow-up. And this is where Margaret, a senior engineer on the team, steps in. She sees Timothy struggling and explains that the solution isn't about writing a better command. It's about a complete mindset shift. It's about treating your AI like you're having a conversation, not making a transaction. Margaret says something that is just perfect. She tells him, "You are not placing a series of independent orders. You are having a conversation with a very capable colleague." Man, that one idea changes everything, doesn't it? Your follow-up is no longer a complaint that the AI failed. It's just the next turn in a productive chat. So once you've got that conversational mindset, what do you actually do? Well, Margaret breaks it down for Timothy with a super practical 3-part formula for crafting the perfect follow-up. Let's dig in. The formula is really simple. First, you acknowledge what the AI got right. You tell it what parts of the code to keep. Second, you identify what didn't work. And you got to be specific here. Describe how it failed and what you expected it to do instead. And third, and this is the real secret sauce, you add the context that you forgot to include the first time around. Seriously, that third step is the most important part. It's basically you admitting, "Hey, my bad. My original instructions weren't complete." And if we're being honest with ourselves, our first prompt almost never is. This totally reframes the problem. It's not about the AI failing you, it's about a gap in your instructions that you now have the chance to fill. This way of thinking leads to a really pro-level technique that Margaret calls the diagnostic read. This is where you actually learn to use the AI's mistakes to your own advantage. And Margaret just nails it with this quote: "The error is not a failure. It is a reflection of your prompt's silence on edge cases." Just think about that for a second. The AI's mistake isn't a bug. It's a spotlight, pointing you directly to the exact spot where your prompt was too quiet or too vague. So let's connect the dots here. That type error on empty data, well, that happened because Timothy's prompt was totally silent about what to do in that edge case. And the hard-coded column headers? Yep, that's because he never once mentioned the data schema object that the AI should have used. Each error is like a breadcrumb leading you right back to the information you forgot to include. All right, so Timothy is armed with this new mindset and the 3-part formula. Let's see him put it all together and craft a perfect correction. And he absolutely nails it. Part 1, he starts by saying the core export logic is correct and should be kept. Great. Part 2, he clearly describes both problems, the error with the empty dataset and the static headers. And then the all-important Part 3, he introduces the schema object he forgot and explains exactly how the headers should be derived from it. And the result? Bam! A targeted, specific correction. The AI didn't just throw everything out and start over. It kept the good parts, it fixed the 2 bugs precisely, and it produced the perfect function. There was no wasted effort, just clean, efficient progress. You know, there's a really powerful psychological thing happening here. When you start your feedback with "what's wrong is," you're basically inviting the AI to do a complete rewrite. But when you start with
What's right is, you're signaling that you just want a precise correction, an edit. It's a subtle shift in framing, but it makes a huge difference.
So let's zoom out. Why does all of this really matter? Because this approach isn't just a clever trick for writing better prompts. It's really the foundation of a professional dialogue. And this final thought from Margaret just ties it all together beautifully. The follow-up is not an admission that the first attempt failed. It is the natural continuation of a dialogue. This means a follow-up is normal. It's expected. In fact, it's a skillful part of the entire development process, not a sign that you messed up. The takeaway here is incredibly practical. Taking 5 minutes to write a good follow-up now will save you hours of fixing technical debt later on. Because that close enough code with the hard-coded values, oh yeah, that stuff will come back to haunt you. This is all about maintaining professional standards right from the start. Which leaves us with this one last thought. The next time you sit down to work with an AI, ask yourself, are you about to issue a command, or are you going to start a conversation?